you go.
Okay, cool.
So, welcome to a parking lot, everybody. Congrats, you made it. I told you, I'll take you to weird spots. By the way, this is where I start withholding information. I will not be giving those of you with spirit box or communication devices questions like what color was George Washington's white horse. You will be getting the answers from your spirit boxes. So, what is this place? This used to be the Charles and Eliza Pinckney Mansion. Their mansion sat in the front of the space facing East Bay Street. Eliza's garden was lined up with Five Church Restaurant, came all the way across. We are standing in the servant and slave quarters for the home. That's the layout of the land. So who the hell were these people? Charles and Eliza had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 different Chucks, in case you weren't paying attention. That's why we look for those secondary clues. And we don't need to keep Curtis like on the outskirts, do we? He can actually come in a little bit.
I'm listening.
Can you hear me? All right. So, the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. That's a big deal for us, but I hate politics more than the rest of you. So, all put together. We're going to move on. If I do not give those 2 children that recognition, they will do it for me in a very nasty message through a spirit box. I've seen it dozens of times. We will show respect while we're here. So I just give them their recognition. Let's talk to Eliza. Now, Eliza marries Charles at a young age according to today's standards. I say it slowly like that because if you're going to ask her how old she was, do not expect numbers from when young ladies got married in colonial days from when Eliza came from, like 12 and 14. Think of today's standards. The reason why is her husband was over double her age when they married. It was creepy then, it's creepy now. So I'm just going to point that out. I don't think we have any couples here with that age gap, so I'm actually really glad for that. I've actually had to put my foot in my mouth a couple of times, so I'm sure you guys laugh, but I haven't. But anyway, back to Eliza. She marries her husband, Charles, because her father is over in England where she's from, and he thinks he's dying. He's trying to bring all of his children home one last time so he can see them. Eliza did not believe he was dying, and instead she stayed put right here, got married. It is 1744, guys. You do not get married in that year to get a green card. We are not a country yet. So she did marry him out of love. This is a true love story, believe it or not. Nothing horrific about this location. Maybe a few things. We'll talk about that later. However, moving on. She was correct. Dad did not die right away. Instead, he starts sending her gifts from England to where you're standing. One of those gifts happens to be the plant seeds of indigo. That is a plant that makes blue dye that makes our blue jeans blue. So Jackie's wearing it from head to toe, everybody, just so you guys know, because that's what we use it now. I know. She knew we were coming here, apparently. Now, Eliza didn't know what to do with those seeds when she got them. She had to learn from her servants and slaves how to keep it cultivated. It's obviously not warm here all the time. When she figured it out, she learned how to make the dye from them and then moved it to a cash crop. She then got a hold of her dad overseas and told him that the rice plantations here were going downhill in price, but they were going to make a killing with the indigo. And we now have an international businesswoman during colonial days. That's something absolutely unheard of. So, that's the boring business stuff of Eliza. Let's get into the weird shit, because that's why you guys are all here. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to hand off like a focus question group to every person with a communication device. We're going to start with the 2 red ones. So that's going to be Cricket and Sarah. So you 2 are going to have the same set of questions. I want you to also keep in mind for everybody, all devices, we have 3 cameras running, my voice recorder, and 5 communication devices. You might ask a question, the answer can go anywhere. Even if it was just Pat and Jenny here, we would have at least 2 communication devices so that way we could verify what was going on. So back to the red spirit boxes. Eliza's death are going to be your major focus. She's pretty open about talking about it, but the 4 major questions we get answers to: how did you die? How old were you when you died? Where are you buried? And which president was a pallbearer at your funeral? So those are 4 majors that we get. So if you go rogue, be respectful, make sure that they're not yes/no questions. That's kind of the mentality behind this. So the Ouija board, so that would be Carrie and our word list. They're going to kind of work in tandem as well. So Carrie, you're going to be looking for Eliza's initials in order, no anagram of them whatsoever, ELP. The reason why is Jenny's going to be looking for the maiden name of L. The reason for that is because there's 2 Eliza wives they were back to back. First wife dies, he marries the one I just told you about. They both have a maiden name that starts with the letter L. Figure out which one it is. As far as yours goes, Miss Lacey, do you see a mansion?
I could.
But is it here right now?
No.
Okay, so you're going to be focused on what happened to it. If you get the what, we normally will get 2 or 3 numbers from the exact date of when that tragedy occurred. Yes, I just gave you a clue that it is indeed a tragedy. Keep in mind, all of those answers can go to anybody else as well. Or you might be getting answers from them. The reason why I give you such simple questions, that only gives us 1 to 2 syllables at a time. So again, I'm kind of giving you like what it's able to be able to feed to us. So I am going to keep Carrie behind to show her a few things about her device. Everybody else, let's spread out, and I will be with everybody through round robins to kind of see what's going on. Cool. Carrie gets to stay with me.
So can I turn it on?
Absolutely. Get it unmuted. Get working already. I know you've been dying to do it. I'm surprised you didn't have it unmuted at all.
I kind of want to switch in a little bit. Why? Do you want to? It's giving me a sensory overload.
It is.
Yeah.
You want to switch?
No, we can. I'm okay, but
Let's switch. I want to do it.
like.
Because I want to hear it. Yeah.
It's like. Okay, when you ask a question, can I hear it?
Yeah.
Do we have to tell them that we're switching? Is it okay?
No. Yeah. Just
Listen. Oh my god.
here.
Dude.
Now you get to listen.
There's nothing. Like, oh my goodness. My ears were going crazy pants. Is that not a sensory overload?
Not for me, but you turn it up.
Right here. Oh wait, where is it? Where's the thingy? It's right here. Should be. Where did it go? I don't know.
Alright, I'll figure it out. Jeez. Somebody was paying attention.
I've been doing
I got
this
it, I
whole
got it.
time. I thought it was on that side. What does yours do? What does yours do again?
It's just like you can see like specks and stuff, like little
Okay.
balls of light.
Is that not a sensory overload at all?
Yeah, kinda.
Isn't it? It gets weird. Ask a question. Do you remember my
No,
question?
I'm trying to turn it up. What was the question?
College. I can't remember. What age did you get married? I think
Yeah, what age did you get married? Oh, this needs to be that probably.
I think so. You would have told me. Wasn't that one of them? I can't remember
I
now.
can barely hear it.
How? I hear that.
I got it now. I turned it
Yeah?
up.
I think that was one of the questions. Do you want to ask them what the other ones were?
You said there was a mansion here?
Yeah. So funny. I love it.
What happened to the mansion here? Just her pain. How many people died?
Thank you.
Roofing. What's your name? Wallen?
Hmm?
I heard Wallen. That's not a name, is it?
The questions were.
You can ask questions too, they can hear you.
No, I'm trying to remember what the questions were. Do you remember? You didn't. You don't recall. Do you?
I'll take that.
I see why this was a sensory overload. It doesn't bother me, but John the Baptist.
Well, I just didn't understand. Like, what am I? What? like,
You're just listening for like keywords.
it was hard though, because I felt like I kept on switching and
Yeah.
switching.
Yeah.
That's more you, because you like to listen.
Is your name John the Baptist? That's what I heard. I did. I heard that.
Do you want to ask them what the main questions were?
Something else. I don't want to be like, it's following. I did his same kind of, and I was standing like right next to it. Yeah, it was very quiet. Okay. And ground. Did you hear it? That was the only one that came over really soon.
What happened to you? It is more fast. Where are you buried at? What happened in this spot?
Alright, where is my spirit box people? Sarah, what you got? Where have you heard? Okay. You're going dark on me.
To go to you. Do you know what? Like a video, like to the front or anything?
So none of those are relevant. So this will be talking about this. Okay, keep listening. We're on the right track. Alright, Cricket, what do we got?
We switched.
Oh,
Yeah, we switched.
I was
Okay.
having a little bit of a sensory overload.
Yeah, it's okay.
So
It can be.
We asked about, well, I asked about like what happened here,
Okay.
and I just got roofing, and then I got a quick. I asked about names earlier before I asked that question. I got like John the Baptist and Wallen. That's the only names
Wallen?
that came up. Yeah, Wallen. I don't know if that's a name or what, but
I don't either.
yeah. And then,
The roofing thing is interesting based on what type of question you were asking.
Mhm.
Saying that there was a fire as it destroyed the mansion and it actually took out a good portion of the roof. So I'm going to show you guys pictures of that before we wrap up. I'm saying it lowly so that way nobody else hears what's going on. It's a stretch at this point.
Yeah.
But again, just because it seems like it was a direct answer, like what happened to you when you did the roofing,
Yeah.
a good part of the roof was missing. So it's interesting.
Yeah, the weird. I've been asking pretty much the same questions as we've been walking around just to see.
And that's exactly it.
Yeah, and then I heard pain, and I said, "Where you buried at?" It said Patriot, followed by something else,
I'm not surprised by that.
and then it said Hold Me in Salvation. I heard that within there. That was pretty prevalent. It said the static mix up.
Pretty dark, actually. I know why that's coming through. I can't prove it, but at the same time, I know why that type of answer came up with what you were asking. I know that sounds weird that I'm like really making a connection with everything. I'm not making a connection with everything. I'm kind of stretching it to see what else is going to be heard. Sarah hasn't heard anything relevant yet, and there's nothing on our word list yet where I'm like, yes, we had this. So far, like yours is probably the closest thing that we even call
That's
close
so
to being
funny.
metal.
We were just talking about that. That song where it's like, "I am getting so hot." That just came on as we were just talking. That was weird.
So
He's talking about the fire and
Mhm.
stuff.
So we will get the word hot, we will get the word fire, and normally we'll have 2 or 3 numbers from that date. So when they do come through, and it's actually how we learn about these things. So I didn't know about the fire that destroyed the mansion. We had the full date come through one night along with the word fire. These are the things that I go through with every location with you guys moving forward. So if I learn something new and I see that the answers like that come through all the time, I throw it into the toy. Like, here's one of the questions you can ask that we will commonly get the answers to. But yeah, the date of that is really what you're out for next, and I'm still not going to tell you what it is.
Yeah.
Because again, they're not like 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of numbers. They're very specific numbers from that date. So, but what was the exact phrase that you heard? I'm getting so hot.
You know what song that is? Like,
I was
I
right
am
the
getting
word
so
hot.
hot, I'm gonna take my clothes off. You know that song?
It's getting hot in here.
Yeah, it's getting hot in here. That's what it is.
Try to keep your antenna in. You don't want to give it too much.
Okay.
It's still attached just to get enough. Now, I know a lot of paranormal investigators will take those off to make sure that it's just white noise, no interference with the radio stations. But I actually like to use that. Even when if I'm doing my own investigation, I run one fast, one slow to kind of see where I'm going to fall with that. Just because the faster one will pick up more disembodied voices. This way, I'm telling you, you guys are going to see the giant grab bag from your report and be like, oh my god, how did we not hear that? Or how did we get so many things out of one recording? You know, and I'm only doing a spot check. I'm really only listening to about 25 minutes of these things. The rest of it, I mean, there's going to be 2.5 hours on there. So just kind of keep that in mind. I'm only listening to a small percentage of it. You guys are going to hear a shit ton more. But I'll take the word hot for sure. All right, I'm going to do one more quick round robin with everybody and kind of tie us all together. Because you guys got the gist of these spirit boxes right away. Did you have something else?
Yeah. What other question? Or what are some of the questions? I forget.
Well, I mean,
Are you
I
done?
asked
You guys, it was
Okay.
about the death.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
he's already asked about where she was buried.
Okay.
He did get the word patriot. I want you to keep that one in the back of your head when I reveal everything.
Okay.
How old she was.
Yeah, I asked that. I
And
haven't
how
gotten
she
any
died.
number yet.
If you asked how she died, and again, you might not get a direct answer. Somebody else might get it. Or it might show up later. I'm just telling you about the common things that we get here. The fact that you ask it in real time, if you get a direct answer, all the better. However, it may not come up as a direct answer. You already asked the question, and Eliza, I'm here every night, dude. You think she doesn't know the damn questions we're going to ask every single night? She's going to spit out those answers. Again, I just try to be respectful while we're here and kind of take it from there. If we're not respectful, like if I have a disrespectful team, like shit goes downhill fast. And it's not like they're getting nasty. It all stops. And the EMF readings that we're getting from Pat, like they're through the roof. Like, so she's got something going on. But yeah, I'm going to do one more quick round robin with everybody and kind of see where things are going. But yeah, just keep your cameras nice and slow. And the reason why I watch those in double time. So the less you move with it, like if you're walking around like this, I just skip right over that part.
Okay.
So you got it. Hopefully you're gonna wake up soon.
I'm more awake.
All right, Eliza, how old are you? So her fall season in 11.
When she got married, how old was she when she got married again? Was
He didn't say, but
didn't?
no, that's what he wants us to find out. I heard 11 though. I literally just heard 11.
I'm assuming it's
Are you-
young.
What day did the house burn down? What day did the house burn down? What was the year when the house burned down?
Well, the kitchen door's right there.
Smell it. Trust me, before you guys leave, I do a count.
Yeah.
I've had people walk off before.
Oh.
So with cameras, if you want to stop your cameras, give your hands a break, by all means do so. And with yours, Cricket, you can
Far
actually
right
just
one.
hold it down, like once you guys get it stopped, that way
Which one?
you get it
The
stopped.
far right one.
Just a quick going on.
Right.
So Pat, starting with your
Okay.
baseline in here,
Okay.
you're going to be looking for anything above an
Okay.
8. We do have lamp posts near us. They will give off enough EMF up to a 7, so I want to make sure we start off at an 8. What did we hear or see along the way? What do we got going on? What did we hear?
I heard 21 and 3.
21 and 3.
I heard the man.
The man. 21 and 3. So when we have numbers like what she just gave me, that 21 and 3, I kind of look at that as dates. That could be like March 21st. It could be March of 1721. It could be a lot of different things. So I'm just going to be looking at that as a whole, just so you guys know. What else did we hear?
I heard light, and then I heard some Irish jig
I
music.
just heard a loud shout that said no.
I heard that too. Light. Interesting. Any words coming out of there for us, Carrie? Let's see. How's our word list coming, Jenny?
Cause, unique, western, and where.
Yeah, I got nothing. Sorry. I'm honest with you guys. I hope you guys appreciate it.
It may come, though.
It may come. And a lot of times when I get that list back, like last night, for example, I thought we were only going to have like 2 or 3 terms that came out of that were going to be fruitful for us. But when I got back to the office, there was like 8. Like once I really looked at it as a whole, I'm like, oh, we were here at this time. They didn't tell me about this one. Brrr, I type up the note.
When you were talking about George Washington,
Yeah.
it said Revelation.
All right, so let's talk about why we're here. We're going to get you on mute for sure. But every ghost tour comes down here, guys. By the way, I don't know if I told you, but I do change this up every year so the repeat ghost hunters don't always go to the same spaces. I tried to take the Pinckney Mansion site where we just left out of my route, but it's really hard because that place is probably one of the most active places I've ever had the pleasure of being in as far as investigating. But I was getting nasty ghost hunters, and I was getting messages that were not radio chatter saying, please just leave us alone, going over 13 radio stations. That's the longest one that I had. So I stopped going there for a few weeks and gave it a break and tried out other places to kind of see how they were working out. But I go back there every night and I just tell her who's coming with me, how many people, and I give them all of your names if I know them. See, the only person I didn't know tonight was Caden because of the way they booked their tickets was different than the rest of you, where you have to put in everybody's names. It's just a respect factor. And it was just kind of the pact I made with her when I told her I was going to be coming back with my groups again. But again, we had a pretty decent thing going on over there. We have some really good clues for me to start off with when I get back to the office for a spot check. So kudos to you. Thank you for being respectful to Eliza. I'm sure she appreciates it too. This location I was going to take out because every ghost tour comes down here. It is a staple. However, this guy does not leave me alone. Everybody's been telling his story for 40 to 50 years, literally dozens and dozens of times, and I'm the only guy that can communicate back. So it's kind of what I found out. I tried to take it out, and I noticed he was popping up in other locations. I'm like, damn it, Doc. You got to stay where you're supposed to stay. But this is where I don't believe that ghosts don't get stuck. So that's kind of my mentality. I'll talk to you more about where else he shows up, other than the place across the street where we're going to go, but he also shows up at our last location, and I'll explain that once we get there. Definitely get you up and running, by the way. So
You're slacking on the job.
I know, right? You're fired. So this location is called Philadelphia Alley now. It used to be called Duelers Alley. This is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. And I say some because dueling was illegal in the 1700s and they had to find hiding spots. This just happened to be one of them. By the way, for those of you with cameras, if other tours are going to come down here, which I don't foresee that happening on a Sunday night, they're going to creep out of that the ivory wall right here because there's a staircase, or they're going to come in the way we came in. Just so you know, any events that tourists are coming by and just walking through the beautiful alley, we will part ways, lower our cameras, and let them cut through. So just kind of be respectful to anybody walking through. So anyway, here's how this story goes. I'm just going to give you a few extra details because you're ghost hunting. It's not a Campfire Marshmallow ghost tour, like I said several times. Yes, I use that all the time. It rolls off the tongue really fast for me. But anyway, a doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. For those of you that are still listening to your spirit boxes while we're here, if you hear the song Brown Eyed Girl, it's not coincidence. It's part of his name. We get it all the time. However, he moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. She's an attorney, helping her out with all of the cash flow that she just got, and the attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money. He tells Amanda to get rid of the doctor. So he comes here to Charleston to prove that he's not after her money. On his way into town, he had a coachman that set him up to be robbed and killed. It's like having a really bad Uber driver today. So kind of think of that in that perspective. Caden's like laser focused. Look at him.
No,
He's
I
got his
just
temple
heard
touch
some
going.
creepy shit. It's like relevant.
What'd you hear?
Well, I'm a firefighter. I heard fire truck, and then like get out.
I heard
And
get out too.
but then after that, I started like freaking out. I'm just like breathing a little bit, and it said try to stay calm.
Oh, okay.
So I don't normally bring this up, but I am going to tell you why this is called Philadelphia Alley. Philadelphia, the city, actually helped Charleston financially with our many fires that we actually have had here. To get rid of the name Duelers Alley, they named it after a city that helped us financially to get us out of the financial wreckage that we were in. So I'm not surprised that the firefighter that we have, here's the word fire truck, had a little bit of trouble breathing and then said try to calm down. So again, it's just very interesting that I gave this to her and you're the one getting all of the
It's
cool
weird.
references.
It was really...
Okay. So,
Yeah.
and that's the only reason, I would normally kind of tell you guys that stuff later, but that was like a real-time moment, so that's why I wanted to kind of give that effect. Very interesting piece. I usually preach all night long to not look like a YouTuber. What do we have? So, where was I? Oh, the really bad Uber driver, right? So somebody was walking by and seeing what was about to happen to this newcomer coming into town, and then the person walking by, his name is Ralph Isaacs. He has the same initials as where the doctor came from, Rhode Island. So, we were getting the letters RI all the time from our regular spirit boxes, so I bought Carrie's device. So that way I could see it specifically letter by letter. We have had the letters RI show up here about half a dozen times when I bring up Ralph's name in the past year. About the length of time that I've had that device. So take that for what it's worth. I like to give you guys stats to show you how relevant these things are. Back to Ralph. He tells the doctor, dude, I know this guy, the coachman. He's going to try to kill you. Come with me. I got friends at 59 Church Street. You can go rent a room from them. You'll be safe and good to go. Doc was okay with it. Took him up on the offer. They became friends. The longer the doctor stays here in Charleston, the more money he's making. He's proving his point. He's not after Amanda's money. He's making his own. He's doing pretty well, actually. So Amanda gets wind of this, and she's moving down here so they could be married. Dr. Ladd became known as the Whistling Doctor. This is why I hate the damn story. Men whistled all the time when they were happy gentlemen back in the 1700s, in case you didn't get the reference of why they called him the Whistling Doctor. However, every haunted city you will ever visit in the future has a cliched whistling ghost. Ours just happens to be a doctor. So that's why I hate the damn story. It's a cliche. But there is some actual relevance to these whistles. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. Dr. Ladd and Ralph go see plays together. This is why the duel occurred, just so you guys know where I'm getting to. They go see plays, but they can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. He gets better seats. So they're arguing one night on their way home from a play, Richard III, about the actress they just saw. Doc thought she was great. Ralph didn't. The argument turns into Ralph insulting the doctor's fiance back home in Rhode Island. It got really ugly, and they went their separate ways. Ralph has friends around town, like I've already said, so he goes to the newspaper, and he tells the newspaper to place an ad telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society kind of bullshit. Doc saw this ad, but rebutted with, let's go to Duelers Alley. We're going to settle this. Somebody's going to die. Keep in mind, this argument started over an actress. I just like to point that out of how dumb these arguments were back then. So the two gentlemen came down, back to back. They took 10 paces away from each other. They turned. The doctor points his gun in the air, and he shoots. His one shot. He did not want to kill his friend. He just needed the courage and bravery to show up to the fight. However, Ralph has his one bullet, and he puts it in the kneecap on the doc. Yeah, kind of a cruel piece, right? Doc fell to the ground. He didn't die, but his friends picked him up. They took him home to 59 Church Street, where he dies 10 days later after refusing medical treatment on November 2nd of 1786. I'm going to point out two things. It's 1786. Gunshot wounds back then are a lot different than what we know of them now. He's also a doctor. Probably just thought he had lead poisoning and tried to bleed it out himself. So, obviously he failed because he died. Every ghost story that comes down here tells you to listen for the whistles. For those of you without spirit boxes, you can all hear how quiet it is down here. It is always this quiet down here. It could be a bit, and this is what the alley sounds like, unless of course there's other tourists down here. We're fortunate enough to where there's nobody down here with us. They always tell you to listen for the whistles, but we have 3 cameras running, my voice recorder. If we're going to capture an actual disembodied whistle, it's going to come through one of those 4 devices. However, the 2 spirit boxes, I will tell you, dozens and dozens of times we've had the whistling part of a song show up and the word doctor from a commercial immediately after. I don't look for these things. You guys know what minute increments that I look at these recordings at. It happens pretty much on a weekly basis. It's him just saying hello. The guy will not leave me alone. Again, I love the doc, but come on, man. We got other people that we got to talk to, too. So if you're going to try this on your own and use your voice recorders from your phone, if you're recording sideways, we're going to have a sideways video.
Oh, I just thought maybe that one worked.
Yeah, you guys all going to know now. YouTube doesn't like the flippies. By the way, with the cameras, I splice all of your videos together from each camera, so you have 3 videos, and one video from each camera. So with YouTube, if something goes sideways, they're not going to change it for me. Sorry, wasn't scolding you, YouTuber over there. But anyway, using your voice recorder on your phones, just keep in mind that every local knows this story. So anybody walking up and down Cumberland Street or Queen Street will always throw a whistle down the alley. I do it every single time. And especially ever since I got thrown out of here, I know this group's going to appreciate this part of the story because this is the reason why we go to the next location. Yes, I got in trouble down here. Let's talk about it. So the alley didn't go all the way through the way we came in. There was a wall up there. The reason why is because this was Cow Alley. This is where they kept the livestock for the city of Charleston. Cows, chickens, and goats are down here. And they were just penned in with that wall. So what does that mean for you guys and how I got in trouble? Those bricks down there are older than the ones we're standing on. It started down there. So those bricks are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child down there in one of those bricks, and fingerprint swipes in others. I used to take my groups all the way through to go show them a piece of history. There's nothing paranormal about it. You guys already know how I feel about cemeteries. They're not there. That's the last place you're going to find that child ghost. So November 26th of 2020, my entire group of 10, same size as you guys roughly, is huddled around one brick waiting for something to happen with all the gear that I handed out. I'm trying to push them along because I know nothing's going to happen, and I'm also trying to be respectful to the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. We were outside of his dining room window. He was not happy. He came out screaming. My daughter, who was probably 13 at the time, was also on the tour that night and thought it was great because her father was getting yelled at. She thought it was hysterical. So we moved on, and the next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on Thanksgiving because I worked in upper management for Walmart before I started doing this, and you guys like to fight over towels on Thanksgiving. You've scarred me for life to work on Thanksgiving, so I don't do it. The day after that was the 28th of November. I called my partner that I had at the time that drugged me into tourism, and I told him what happened, trying to figure out what to do next. He laughed at me too because he said, Nick, you're only allowed to go down halfway. It's residential after that, and it's out of bounds. I didn't realize that. So obviously there was a complaint filed, and he told me that I was going to have to reroute my group that night. I don't have a story for the next location because I've never had anything happen over there. So I was honest with my group and told them that. I was like, I've never had anything happen at the next location, and I'm a vampire guy, not into pirates. Obviously, we're talking about pirates next in case you didn't pick up on that. So before we left, somebody with a spirit box heard the name Anne. I didn't tell them which pirate we were going to be investigating. The female pirate, Anne Bonny. I was like, oh shit, maybe we're going to get something. We get up and around the corner. I told them the little bit I did know about piracy because I only had a few hours to do some quick whatever's going on over there. Somebody else with a spirit box heard the number 300. I don't know what that one means. Wrote it down, did the research. We were there November 28th of 2020, and Bonnie's trial for piracy, November 28th of 1720, the exact 300th anniversary of her piracy.
Wow.
I normally get this kind of reaction of the wows and the jaw drops. I was actually pissed off. Let me explain. I have a master's degree in creative writing. I write a lot of fiction, I write a lot of nonfiction. All of my degrees are in writing. When I'm doing anything, especially this, in researching, I like facts and data. Pirate stories come from pirate lore. That's a problem, because pirate lore was basically written 100 years after the golden age of piracy, the days of Blackbeard, basically, which is the same time period as Anne Bonny. That's a problem. That means I have to read more damn books on piracy than I ever wanted to in my entire life on a subject I'm not even interested in. However, I've read more books on pirates, watched more documentaries. I even play video games with different versions of the story, so I know exactly what the hell's going on. I am kind of a small pirate expert at this point, particularly focused on Anne Bonny and her companions. You guys will see that. Holy cow, it's not even Saturday night. That lady's carrying a blanket around. She stole it from her room. Obviously didn't come prepared, no coats. Did I say that out loud? I sure as hell did. I will tell you that everything that we're going to talk about at the next location, it came from a minimum of 2 resources. So I will be quick with that story, as quick as I can, because it can be a lot of details, and then you guys will be able to spread out, obviously be listening in once we get over there. And I'll kind of do my round robins with that location and kind of see how things are going. It's a roll of the dice if she'll be there or not. I'll explain that once we get to this location, but remember, you will be getting things from Dr. Ladd as well. He will basically piggyback onto us and kind of see what's going on over there. Anything I need to know about before we leave the space? Did we hear anything? Did we see anything?
Yeah, when you were talking about the doctor, I heard doctor as you were talking, and I heard murder. I heard I've been hearing a bunch of stuff, honestly. Like, it's been hard to keep up with this. I've been hearing stuff that's like personal too. Like, it's kind of freaky. I don't know.
Personal for you?
Yeah. I don't know. It's weird. Like that firefighter thing, I feel like I've been listening to you, but I've been listening to this.
Yeah, it's hard to do.
And it's been like almost like it's like directing everything towards me. It's not like
anything towards what I just told you about.
Yeah,
It's all
it's
direct.
all, it's
So I will tell you, if I
it's been bouncing between that and like the doctor stuff. Like,
if I have a vet on the tour, or somebody that has lost obviously some comrades overseas,
yeah,
it
like
doesn't
I
matter
lost
what story I
somebody,
tell.
and that's what it's. Yeah.
You can tell me about that as we kind of go
Yeah.
and I do my Ron Robbins. So, Sarah, did you get anything?
I heard get out.
Get out.
Okay. You got it.
I usually throw that shit away because it's what I throw. But I'll kind of take it at this point. So, I know you were on mute. Anything on our word list or Ouija board device? Nothing going on? Any numbers, Pat? Okay, Jenny?
Remind and establishment and property.
Ooh. During
And
maybe
discovery.
Reminding you to maybe you're missing something.
Yeah,
Property.
I am actually. It's actually a perfect point. The gate behind me, there's a reason why we stop here. Well, it's gate over here. You guys kind of stopped ahead of time. I always tell you guys what happens at the gate. You don't like it right there.
I don't like it right there.
So let me point out a few things about this gate, because not all the tours talk about why this gate is here. It's a property line now, because this is not the same property anymore. However, the gate wasn't always there. Remember I told you that there was a wall the way we came in? In the event there was a loser to the duel down this way, this was the shortcut to get to the cemetery on the other side of the wall.
Okay.
So I call this the death gate. Otherwise, they have to carry the dead body all the way down to the ends of Queen Street and then double back to be able to get to the cemetery before they can go celebrate the winner. So I like to tell you guys why the wrought iron was probably put here in the early 1900s, but you can see that the archway is definitely part of the original wall. But you have the words remind and property. But again, this is now a property line because the other side of this actually belongs to St. Philip's Church. So this is obviously belongs to the city at this point, but that is St. Philip's Church property. That's their courtyard. Actually, there'll be times where I'm trying to like do my whole spiel over here with Dr. Ladd, and there's a wedding reception over here. This happens all the time, unfortunately. No other words that came out of your scare? Was it?
Pit.
Pit? It still spelled something. I'm going to write it down. I don't think it means anything,
It's the first
but
word.
that's how I learned.
Could
Pit.
do MMHMM.
Mm-hmm.
Like creepy shit.
You won.
I know. It's cool. She's like.
Interesting piece. All right, you guys ready to learn about rated R pirates?
Yeah.
Nobody got my dad joke? That means I have to enhance the dad joke. Are you ready?
Yeah.
If the letter R is not a pirate's favorite letter, then what is it?
R.
If it's not R,
If it's not R,
then what is it? It must be the C.
Nice.
Must be the-
Nice. That was good.
Oh, I got it.
That was
It's
good.
okay.
You know what's
But
funny
hey,
is
you
the
wanted
past
something
times
that
I've
was
actually told the extent
paranormal.
of that
That you
joke.
could experience something.
It was just weird because I was feeling like, I don't know, it was like I was thinking stuff and then like shit was playing that was like making sense.
I gotta turn this off.
Yeah.
We're going to spread out, like I said. So with this location, I'm actually excited about a 2.5 here, just so you know. The closer you get to those bushes, we do parking meters to electrical poles that will influence between a 4 to a 6. Just kind of have that idea. The biggest orb I've ever caught with that camera cricket has been at this location, 14 years. It's been here, and it was larger than my head and intelligent. So it wasn't just kind of like a swooping thing. It moved in, stopped, turned, moved up, disappeared. Like
Okay.
that's kind of how it went. Crazy stuff. We're going to see how
Crazy
Carrie does with
pants.
this spirit box. Which, by the way, our next location, which is our last location, is completely different than everything we've been doing so far. For those of you that are not familiar, we will be doing the Estes method. So I will explain what all of that is. I will just say that 3 of you will be involved, and 2 of you will be blindfolded, and another person will be in virtual reality. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more before we leave the space. Look at you two looking like, oh shit, what's happening?
No, that's
Oh no, we like it.
Yeah. So, with that said, let's talk about why we're here. The little tiny building up there with the crosses on it, one of you have already asked me if that's a church. That is not a church. Those are not crosses. That is a gunpowder magazine. It's a museum now, so if you ever need to get out of our heat or cold, it's a good 5 tickets to go spend. I'm not an advocate, it's just a great idea. But anyway, so the crosses on there are earthquake bolts. If you don't know what those are, they're turnbuckles. In the event we have another earthquake, like what we did in 1886, you tighten them up, it tightens the building, it doesn't incur any further damage. It's a great idea, it just doesn't work. The only reason I bring these ones up specifically is because that's the first set that Charleston ever put in. You guys have been seeing them all over town in the form of lion heads and pineapples and all kinds of Charleston term bullshit, because that's just kind of what we do here. But that is actually part of the reason why we're here, is those earthquake bolts. The reason that's the first set that they put in is that's because that's the oldest government building in South Carolina. It was finished in 1713. We're here simply because this building was being constructed at the same time that Anne Bonny was coming here to start her new life. So it's a familiar. for those of you that watch the TV shows, you may have seen that Boo Buddy. It's a teddy bear. It's got that little blinky light device inside of it, and they use that to try to attract a child ghost because they would recognize the teddy bear as a toy. Think of that concept with the building. We don't have many buildings this old. The hope here is it's a 50-50 roll of the die if she's going to be here or not. So let's kind of get into her story. Again, I will speed through this one, but slow down on the twist because this is a female pirate and there's going to be some raunchy, randy twists coming your way. So, 1708. Young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormac. She comes here with her father and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. Everybody with me so far? Young lady, and the reason why they're coming here, by the way, is because they're running away from her father's angry wife. How pissed off was that wife that she kicked them out of the damn country, by the way. I just like to kind of point that out for gentlemen that came here with their ladies. Be nice to them. They'll kick you up to Canada. And Carrie's not even listening. She's like so focused. I love it.
Can I tell you one word?
Go for it.
Adultery.
We've gotten some nasty, we've gotten sexual terms here. So don't be surprised if we get a couple of, yeah. The adultery is a little light for what I expect out of this location. So, now, with that said, they landed in Georgetown. Dad bought a plantation in Georgetown. That's between us and Myrtle Beach. It's about an hour and a half north. And then Mom died pretty quickly after they landed. That means Dad is now sending young Anne down here to Charlestown to sell things from the plantation to help keep things afloat. That's basically why the building is so familiar. So let's take a step back to Ireland for just a second so I can give you the mentality of this young lady as we move through her story. They say when Anne was only 7, 8, or 9 years old, remember it's pirate lore, nothing is exact, they say she killed a servant with a knife to the belly. So again, imagine a kid this tall killing somebody. Sorry, I didn't mean to kill you, Carrie. But kind of imagine that, and then let's move forward. The building's done in 1713, but by 15, just a couple years later, pirates are starting to come through Charlestown. Anne is stoked. The reason why, she's going to fall in love with one of these guys so she can earn her freedom, just like a man. It's a man's world during these times. So the first guy she fell in love with, I said the word first slowly because there's a handful. That's what makes the story so damn good. And we're going to talk about every one of them. First guy is James Bonney. I saw like a light flicker over there. James Bonney, you already know where this one's going because I've already told you her pirate name. Dad didn't approve. He's a filthy pirate. They ran away to Jamaica. They got married. Anne Cormac is now Anne Bonney. Again, you get it. However, when they get down there, she realizes her new husband is not the Captain Jack Sparrow, like what she was hoping for. This guy turns out to be a privateer. He's a spy for the British. He's a coward. This isn't who she wants. He's a coward. She falls in love again. Guy number 2. I'll keep track for you because it was a good handful. Guy number 2 is named John Rackham. Everybody calls this guy Calico Jack. This is the guy they based your Johnny Depp character off of, by the way, in case you were wondering. He's a real person. Calico Jack has his own crew. He has his own ship and wants to be part of the crew. Cannot put a female on a pirate ship. Does anybody know why? Thank you for keeping it family friendly. I did not expect that from this group. So, that was quick too, 2 of you. So at any rate, by the way, I normally don't I'm not a big advocate for all of the other tours around town, but if you want to take another fantastic storyteller of a tour, that's your guy. His name is Mike Brown. He owns a company just like me. It's called Pleasing Terrors. He is the creepiest damn storyteller I've ever met in my life, and that's saying something considering I have a master's degree in storytelling, literally. And he's been doing this for 28 or 29 years now, and he is a native of Charleston. You can point at a leaf and he'll tell you where the hell the damn thing came from. That kind of gives you the idea of how good he is. I love that guy. Again, not an advocate for other tours around town, really not. But him, yeah, I take his tour once a year just as a refresh, just because I love to hear him talk. But anyway, Curtis is like, who the hell is this guy? I'm surprised. I was really expecting some backlash from you tonight, by the way.
No. I'm a business owner. I respect that.
In a good way. I wanted
good
it.
stuff.
I was like, oh, he's going to give me some good shit. I can dish it right back. So where was I? Oh, bad luck, right? So Jack makes a deal with Anne. If you dress like a guy and look like the crew, you can be part of my crew. But you're going to be a female in my quarters. She's okay with this. Why? Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice back home in Rhode Island. To hire from his wife. She gets it. It's a man's world. But we're all adults here. Put 2 and 2 together. She's a female in his quarters. She's going to get pregnant. You can't have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out she's a girl.
That was so 200 years ago, though.
I know, right? So before she starts to show her pregnancy, he drops her off in Cuba. Go have the baby here. These are some friends of mine. They'll help you out. We'll figure it out later. She goes and has the baby, but returns without a baby. We have no idea what happened to the child. None of my research has ever discovered it, too. Just kind of keep that in mind. She also comes back dressed as a female. This makes Jack pretty pissed off. Everybody's going to know he let a girl on the ship now. To make him even more mad, she's going to go flirting with the pirate crew he just captured. They're down below deck. Guy number 3. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a male, trying to be a pirate.
Okay.
Part of the crew that Calico Jack just captured. So now we have 2 females trying to be males on the same ship. It's kind of a rarity, right? Now, her name is Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. We have gotten both of her pirate names while we're here. So Anne and Mary became friends, maybe lovers. We're not really certain about the whole scenario because it is obviously a couple hundred years ago. But the British find out where they are. They send a whole fleet of Navy ships to come take down one pirate ship. The rumor is that Anne and Mary were the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with 1-bullet flintlocks. Obviously, 2 ladies with 1-bullet guns cannot take on a whole fleet of ships with cannons. Are you feeling okay, by the way?
Oh, my hands are cold.
Oh, okay. So she's like holding it up. I didn't know if you were just going to hurl. I'm like, is she okay?
No,
Just kind of checking on you. So obviously they get arrested because they can't take on the whole fleet of ships. And Anne looks at her captain, her beau, Calico Jack, and she says, I'm so sorry to see you here, Jack, but if you would have fought like a man, you wouldn't be hanged like a dog. The word dog shows up all the time on your communication devices. A lot of times you guys hear a dog barking on a spirit box before we even enter the space. Happens all the time. Now, the judge wants to see the 2 men, quote unquote, that fought back so valiantly on their own. He's already tried and hung Calico Jack and those drunken pirates that wouldn't fight. They are dead and gone. So the 2 ladies go in front, they reveal their gender to the judge, and he does not give a shit that they are female. They are still pirates. He's still going to hang them. They scream, we plead our bellies, which means they're claiming to be pregnant. You can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. He sends them both back to jail and delays the hanging. Dad is still up here in South Carolina with all of his Irish money. He bails out Anne and brings her home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4. We're going to count Mary because we don't really know. She has 4 kids, dies at the age of 84. Very abrupt ending because we don't know anything about her after her pirate career. That's not speculative fiction. So, Mary Reed died 5 months later in that Jamaican jail from whatever pirates die from in a jail. So use your own imagination on that one. Most books tell you it was fever. I'm going to bet it was scurvy. So I say let's make it romantic and make it nasty, right? So, I'm not going to control this environment like what we did at the Pinckney Mansion site. I'm just going to tell you a few things that I left out. You can ask whatever you want to here. This is also a place where I tell you if you drink rum and you smoke, have at it. This is the place to attract that crowd. So kind of keep that in mind. That's why I was actually excited that Morgan was a rum back then. But I'm like, hey, it's a bunch of rum. Here's what I left out, just so you have something to work with. The names of Anne Bonny's parents. I did not tell you what those were. The father and the mistress. The city that Anne grew up in Ireland. I didn't say what that was. The name of Calico Jack's ship and the color of Anne Bonny's hair. Anything else you want to ask? If I can prove it, great. Otherwise, it'll be just a private conversation between you and Anne. Remember, you will get things from Dr. Ladd also while we're here. And again, I get excited about a 2.5. You get anything, I'm stoked. We actually had a little bit of a 5 here last night. That's high for this location. This is not the Pinckney Mansion, for sure. I think that about covers everything. And by the way, the wall behind you, I'm still getting you guys mixed up. Jackie, thank you. I don't know why. I figured it. Yeah. So, Lacey, this wall right here is not your friend. It's going to look like a bunch of army men all the way down the wall with all the damn leaves on it.
And I was like, why don't I want to take out the wall?
It's just not your friend. All right, Carrie, have you heard anything yet?
I thought I heard Talk Dirty to Me by Poison, but it was hard to hear and it was so quick.
Yeah.
It was the very beginning of the song, like the first few beats. Oh, not that one.
Well, it's a matter of the lyric.
Yeah.
It's not the guitar riff or the artist. It's the action. Like if you heard the phrase "Talk Dirty to Me,"
no.
I'd be excited.
I just heard the first.
Gotcha. Because
name that tune. I'm your girl.
Figured like you guys were like singing it. Like holy shit, they know the opening. That's awesome.
We do.
We love music.
With this one, you are definitely looking for her initials, AB or MR, from Mary Reed. Of course, Mark Reed is the same initials. If you get any words being spelled out, obviously let me know. Definitely want to get that thing cranked
There's one in my hand up.
It's not already. There you go. So perfect, you're ready to
It's
go.
funny, I got
And
something that
Kate,
said,
I'm
why aren't
telling
you holding
we'll get
hands?
this back out later on.
Right?
Well, guess what? Your hands are freezing.
This is weird, like it's
You
like,
are.
I feel like there's like something like picking at me or something.
They are. They're saying stop wearing firefighter sweatshirts. I'm just kidding. You know what I said?
Alright, I'm gonna listen, because this is getting weird.
Not an easy job. No, especially as much as I talk. So that's why I said, it's pretty much telling you guys online. If you really ignore me, that's fine too. You know what I mean? Like you're working with me, that's my choice. You can go have that. The history will be on voice recording and video later. That's kind of like why I go through elections. But I know she actually sure they cursed a lot. All right, I want to see that word list. I haven't taken a look at it.
Super.
Can you hear how loud it is?
Yes.
Your hands are actually warm.
Yeah, and your hands are ice cold.
Wait, what?
Your hands are ice cold.
You can put them in your pockets if they were warm.
But I want to.
I mean, if you want to hold hands, let's hold hands.
I need to hold it up higher. I realize I'm a midget, so because you're gonna get it really short. Like holding it down. I look like an old lady trying to look at this little camera. Oh my god.
You got anything?
What's up?
You got anything?
Oh my gosh. I mean, it has not been stopping. So, like, when we were walking up here, I was listening, and I didn't hear you. Like, the first thing I assumed when I saw that was a church, so I heard Jerusalem.
Okay.
Been hearing church music like crazy.
That's because of that church right there.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
And then, I've heard Jesus 3 times, and then God. And then that's when you mentioned, is like, this is not a church. I was like, oh, that's pretty funny. Then I heard laughter in my thing.
This is where you guys really start to hear those religious terms.
Yeah.
I don't bring it up. I mean, granted, you're in the Holy City. We're on a Sunday night. You're going to hear a lot of religious stuff. I don't count, like, all of the things that you just said. I put it in one category as religious terms of where we are.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, since you guys are all over here, you have a full moon tonight, and it's next to our tallest steeple. That is the biggest tourist photo that you could probably take in your entire life. Have at it.
There you go.
But yeah, all of those religious phrases, like I'm just going to count that as one. So
Yeah.
you're going to continue to hear them. You don't need to tell me.
Yeah.
793.
And then when you were talking about the pirates, it said treasure, opportunity, and it was talking like, I think you made a joke or something about like, man, I can't remember. Like I've been getting stuff. It's been hard to remember the stuff that it's been saying, but it's basically saying like I should like step up and do. I can't remember how it was.
Oh, you heard the word
but
step.
it was a full step. It was like a full sentence.
Remember that those guys took 10 paces away from each other,
Yeah.
which are essentially steps.
Yeah.
However, what's funny is I didn't know this one night, but we actually had the exact measurement of what 10 paces, military style, are away from each other, and we had that come through a spirit box, which is exactly 50 feet. I heard 50 feet while we were in there one night. I'm like, I wonder. So I looked up how much is 20 paces, 50 feet. I was like, no shit.
I've
So that's pretty cool stuff. They look excited. Ejected? Like from an airplane ejected?
I don't know, it's just ejected.
Just want to make sure I had the right word.
Yeah. Oh.
I've heard this same song, Paint the Town Red, twice. Like that exact phrase.
That's her hair color.
Huh.
Oh, look at that.
Yep.
And
So just
then,
small connections. He's got a shit ton, Carrie. Go ahead.
Promises came out clear, and 11.
I know why you heard promises. We get it here all the time, and it's not due to any pirate story whatsoever. So, 2 of the Charles Pinckneys that we talked about earlier, the husband of Eliza and the nephew of Eliza are both buried across the street. The nephew introduced the Pinckney's promise to the Constitution. So, but we need the number of how many. How many did Anne have? Do you remember?
Oh, how many children do they have?
So how many do you remember how many? I told you. No. 1 in Cuba, 4 after. For pirate crew, 5 total. Yeah, now that thing's picking up. 11, I don't know what that is yet. So I'll dive in and see if that's a number.
really fuzzy.
But yeah,
But
promises.
those were the two that he really clear.
We get it all the time. Obviously, I was able to like come up with that one quickly. So it's obvious I was there for a long time, and I didn't know what it was. Like I go into it
Oh,
first,
goodness.
looking for Anne Bonnie stuff. Has nothing to do with her. Has everything to do
No, I'm
with
not
Chuck
good
across
at
the
taking
street.
photos. I don't know how.
And it's just because his grave is over there. Again, we get subtle differences over there.
Holy moly, yeah.
That
That looks good.
Hey, that
Oh, by the way, did you hear me about the picture? You're on a full moon next to our tallest steeple. So if you
Oh.
take pictures when you're on vacation, by all means, take pictures.
Oh.
It's not going to get any better than that.
Oh, I was
So,
just taking pictures of it's her spring break, so I'm just taking pictures of her.
anything else crazy I need to know about? You're going to have a shit
Yeah,
ton more.
so like I'm hearing stuff that's like relating. I've also been hearing stuff that I've been doing that's been relaying to me. Like, so we've been holding hands on and off. And he stopped for a while and he said, "Why aren't you holding hands?" So I was like, "That's weird."
Is it though?
Yeah.
That's why you came to me.
Yeah. So.
You know what's going to suck for you?
Huh.
You're not getting your own recording back. You're going to have a brand new one.
Yeah.
You're going to have to start all over again.
But the thing is like it's been like saying like relevant. Like I've been thinking stuff. This isn't the first time I've held like a spirit box in my mind. Every time I've held it, it's like said like relevant shit that I'm doing right now, or like the stuff that's happening.
Yeah.
It's just it's
Welcome to my
freaky.
world.
Yeah.
This is what I do. This is what I do. Love it. What else we got going on over there? Curtis, you got anything?
What makes this picture work? I mean, it's like somebody got mad.
So, let me tell you about the aesthetic of that. Because it is meant to try to scare you. It will growl. It will kind of just vibrate and bullshit. I turn that stuff down.
Getting a lot of like real cash advertisements.
What? Cash? How
Yeah.
How do you take a photo like how do
The
I?
ones she took were really good.
You're fibbing. Go down more? Yeah. Attaboy. Yeah, can you hold this?
Yeah.
Don't try.
I gave it here and at our last location. And not just on this one.
Who are you, David? You didn't know the clue. Maybe. I knew her on the ship.
Number 5. He was number 5. We just didn't know about it.
And I'm sure was involved with a lot of other as well.
Maybe David was a few.
She knew them. Charles Haynes.
I'm sure.
Knew them all. Do I know about them all being lovers together? I don't. I only know about the ones I told you about specifically.
Yeah. Can only assume.
Right.
Can only assume. Yeah. For that day and age of his book. Not these
What is the machine?
I just wanted to get you in that room.
No, the one before that he was listening to.
Same one that she has right now. It's identical. Okay.
He's getting a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he's doing really well.
Well, I don't see Caden on the thermal anymore.
Is Josh Swanson doing anything?
I don't know, but I'll write it down just because we are next to a graveyard. We
Yeah.
never
Her
know.
last name is Swanson,
And then Baron.
and her husband's name is John.
Huh.
Where?
This is getting weird.
He's a pain in our ass. He's alive.
Is there a Josh or anything?
I'm trying to think. I
That's
can't.
not with us.
No.
Cousin?
Not that's dead that I know of. I got a cousin, but he's still alive.
He says, I hate to say it, but Swanson, the first thing I think of is chicken.
Yeah. TV dinners.
Yeah. Carrie, you got anything? What about you two?
I also got a countdown from 5.
That's weird.
All the
Like
way.
Like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1?
Yeah.
The volume.
Sounds like we need to go.
Very weird.
Yeah.
Over there, I got
80s rock? Is that what you heard it specifically? Did you hear 80s rock specifically?
Oh.
That's your 80s rock.
Oh.
Remember how old Anne Bonnie was when she died?
84?
I've been hearing that too.
It's in the 80s.
Like 80s rock.
Yeah, over there I heard it.
What's funny is, was it last night? Maybe a couple nights ago? somebody heard the number 82. And you're like, I know she was 84 when she died. I'm like, but you're missing the point. She died in 1782.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, born in 1698, died in 1782. Believe it or not, she was actually older, same time period as Eliza. So all of the people we've talked about so far are all from the same time period. They all may have well have known each other. So
They do now?
definitely not. Except for Big John. I mean, he didn't know, obviously, Eliza when he was alive.
Oh, no.
But I'm into that. Anything else crazy coming out of yours? Anything crazy, Cricket, that you've seen?
No.
I know you've been watching. I've been seeing you peering at it.
Yeah,
Kinda work through it.
negative over here.
I say we get this one wrapped up and put a button on it. So Hayden's been getting like a lot of like personal things and seeing like a lot of real-time moments kind of mentality. Just as an example, I'll use the hand reference. You know, these two have been holding hands through most of the night, and when they haven't, he heard the phrase, "Why aren't you holding hands?"
Okay.
Yeah, so things like that have been happening to him all night long. So you guys will hear about that conversation on your regular audio. So I don't like to kind of put you on the spotlight when these things are happening, and kind of keep that in real time. But again, that's why we record everything. So all the conversations we all had together all night, you guys are all going to hear them. So again, I try to make sure everybody gets involved. We are going to head over to the wall so I can put my bag down for a second, and then I will give you the answers for this location, and I will explain the Estes method to you all, because you all are going to get it.
I don't
Gonna
want to
love this. All right, let's go over this way.
Oh, do you already know what this is?
Somebody's blindfolded, and I said, I don't want to be blindfolded.
I think it's when people ask questions.
I love how you're like, his plan is going to be to do this.
He said this, and I like that. I like the box. I like the
I don't understand. How do you spin those to make it the building? I don't understand.
Like those?
Yeah.
And the other,
Oh,
yeah.
you
I
weren't
like that.
listening.
No,
Never
I
mind.
wasn't. I was getting into it.
It's like, oh, never mind. He weren't paying attention.
So here's how this is going to work. So those of you with cameras, by all means, give your hands a break. So we're going to talk for a few minutes. However, I don't want anybody to put any of this gear on, because if I blindfold a bunch of women and walk away, it never looks good.
Oh my god!
Never looks good. So your guys' blindfolds are disposable if you guys can figure them out, because they are origami projects.
Oh.
You guys get to keep your blindfolds. They're disposable. I keep your own eye boogers. So in the event you screw it up and you rip it by accident, I got a ton more in my bag. So those are you. Please don't leave the garbage. I'll take them when I come back. So when we come back, like I'm going to teach them the history. We'll only be a few feet away. And then when we come back, we'll give you guys a few tips and tricks of what to expect out of this whole experiment, and kind of how this will go. This is our grand finale of everything that we're going to be doing tonight. We will be like really tight knitted around you guys. So again, even if passerbys are walking through and that kind of thing, like I don't like anybody that's kind of like peering. We actually had like somebody rude from a wedding party come through here last night. We're like, what are you guys doing? I'm like, we're ghost hunting. So I have to kind of like get rid of the drunken idiot and get him gone, right? So everybody will have a role, obviously, and in the event that you guys aren't giving me the answers will be able to go through our other communication devices. So that's going to be with Sarah's Ouija board device, and of course with Jenny's word list. So we never know where it's going to fall. But again, I'm going to teach them about the quick history of this. You guys become besties and exchange TikToks, because I know that's exactly what we're going to do. And we'll be back in 5.
So they
2.5
just
and higher.
they just listen, just remember, or what's Pat's job? I missed that part.
She's gonna have the virtual reality on. She's gonna like see the whatever.
Okay.
She's gonna see something.
That's what I was confused about.
Here's how this is going to go. With the cameras that we're running, so the two of you can actually run your cameras anywhere you want to in this location. Of course, we're going to stay pretty tight-knit around them when we get over there. But with Cricket's camera, we actually get the clearest picture. They're going to want to watch this later on, because they have no idea. I'm not going to repeat the story to them. So this is just not what I'm going to do. So they're just going to have to watch the video to see how it went later on. Unless, of course, you guys are going to tell them when you guys leave me. But definitely keep your camera fixed on them.
I was going to ask who's recording them.
Also,
Crickets.
should I turn my recording off right now?
You're what?
It's on. I turned it on. Just a second.
That's up to you.
Should
I mean, I see it blinking. You're perfectly fine.
Okay.
So, I mean, you can keep it running. It's fine.
Okay.
But with the other two communication devices, the Ouija board and the word generator, in the event you have something spelled out, you can go ahead and say what you have. Because, again, they're not going to be able to hear me. And if you get a word that pops up, just say what the word is. Very simple as we kind of go through this. 2.5 and higher, we have gotten triple digits out of this location. So even after we're done, I may send her around as a quick round robin on her own to kind of see what we have going on. You can go with it.
Okay,
Yeah, you can go in pairs. Just to kind of see if you get any other readings of the location before I pack everything up. So the first time I came in here, I only had 2 people. I usually start looking for the new space of the year in November, right after Halloween. I only had 2 folks because it was cold as shit. Everybody else canceled. That's basically how it goes. So we're using minimal tools. You guys get the point. But the young lady using the spirit box, I told her, just tell me whatever you hear. I don't even know who we're looking for in here. We're just testing it out. A lot of it goes towards start or end here. However, what we found is the story that I'm about to tell you isn't even somebody they're even thinking about discussing. But she heard the year 1828, including yes, no question. You don't know what I'm asking. So if I ask the ghost and if I'm wearing a black vest, I'm expecting one of you to say yes. So again, I'm not going to repeat the history either. I will tell you at the end of this if this was successful, unsuccessful, or slightly successful. It's kind of a balance of all of this. So I will keep you guys under for 10 whole minutes. And this is the only thing that I timed for my entire night. So kind of keep that in mind. Let's see. I think that covers it. So once you guys go ahead and get blindfolded, turn up your spirit boxes to where you can't hear me. I'll ask you a silly question so that way you want to make sure you can't hear me.
Oh, well, that's ominous.
Right? Like they're
I
ready.
don't time this, man. I promise you. I
Get your blindfold on.
Have you ever used virtual reality before? Okay. The only thing you're going to need to worry about is you're going to need to look straight. We already have an image coming through. Let's see what that is. So you're going to just look straight ahead. You don't need to look around. It's not 3D in your face like most virtual reality pieces are. You're just going to see kind of like a photograph just sitting there in front of you. So Carrie, do you have yours turned up? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Go ahead and turn your volume up.
Okay.
It is 11:29, everybody. And then you have a focus at the top. So if it's blurry, you're going to turn this dial right here until it's full. Okay. So I'm going to do a quick setup for you since you've never used these before. And then you might get 1 image, you might get 10. I have no idea what you're going to see in there or how many. You might not get any. I've had nights like that. It sucks, but it does happen. You're going to see stars, kind of like this.
Okay.
Kind of like glittering stars in there.
Okay.
That's just so you don't fall asleep. Oh, not yet.
Okay.
I want to slide this in there. I want to slide the phone in
Okay.
for you. And then it will line up with you as long as you look straight ahead, and then you can fix your focus. All right. What color is a blue banana? Perfect. All right, they can't hear me. So, Henry, if you're here, I have how much?
13.5.
It is. We haven't seen an EMF reading out of this place in weeks.
19.5.
19.5.
It's sitting at 9.
Henry,
What do you think about
family members, can we remind them to talk? Just lift up their earmuff and tell them to tell us what they're hearing. They may have forgotten.
Remember, you tell me what you're hearing, okay?
Say out loud what you
Tell me what you're hearing, okay?
Right now?
Yeah, real time.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, Henry, I think we're back on track, buddy. It's 11:31. Henry, if you're here, can you give us something about your occupation, please?
No.
Requirements?
No requirements. Henry, let's be nice and civil. I got a large group here tonight. They would like to learn more about you. Let's talk about your occupation. You can even show us pictures. That's Pat. She can see whatever you want us to see. Sure.
I'm gonna get back.
Taboo?
What's the image, Pat?
It was
I am here.
a big red streak, and then it went away. And 2 doors.
I know you know.
Did it look like blood by chance?
Yes.
Okay. Henry, I know I'm asking questions that I already know the answers to, but
Value?
we're looking to verify
I know.
that you're here. Can you verify that you're here? You can give
Say goodbye.
No, we're not doing it
Suffocated.
yet. Holy cow.
It's been hard.
Henry, you want to go straight into how you died? We can do this. Tell us how you died. I don't normally go into this quick, but you're kind of forcing it.
Ask about stream.
What do you want me to ask about, Henry? Be more specific. What's on our word list, Jenny?
I've had jump, William, Sandy, tell, voice, and voiced.
Henry,
All right.
let's be civil, Henry. Can we be civil? That's a yes/no question.
Life changes.
Jesus is blessed.
Henry, let's get verification.
Final hours.
Let's ask about what sound we just heard out of the church as we got started. What sound did we hear?
Asthma.
That's one of my words.
Stand at the bar.
Mm-hmm.
Henry, did you have asthma? I don't know about this illness if you did.
Ash.
Henry,
Neighborhood.
did you have asthma? That's a yes/no question.
Don't cry.
35%.
What was the percentage? 35.
With you.
3.5?
I want to hear you say.
Do you
You
want
really were the best.
Do you want to hear me apologize for trying to contact you and learn about you? Is that what you're waiting for?
Found your body.
Wow, that's serious.
Farmer of the family.
Go.
She's got to say goodbye and go so far. And I usually ask if you want us to leave, just say the word home. Like that's kind of my key word.
I fill you up.
A dream.
Henry, let's be civil. Let's talk about your work. That's for you. That probably was a great thing that you were able to do for people. And we've already had this conversation.
New Mexico.
That you may feel like I'm exploiting you, but I'm doing the exact same thing that you did for the people of Charleston and for anybody else who was reading your work. You were informing them of what was happening during the war.
Taxes.
There's no difference between what you do and what I do here. This is not invasive. This is how we learn.
Ignorance.
Wow.
How could you know?
I do a lot of research. Henry,
Cricket.
you're famous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cricket.
Downward.
My
What's her name?
It's a little unique name.
It's weird to see that saying anything at the exact same time. Go ahead.
Henry. Henry. I'm here to talk about your work tonight.
George
sure.
Clooney.
Pat, what do we have?
I have, looks like bridges. Red background.
We
like
are ready to
burning.
rock.
We're the ones.
Big, tall, stick-looking trees.
Okay. Basically nature.
Give.
Like this on a water. Like on a
This is Abby.
Henry, I don't know what
Real people.
I don't know what the image is that's coming through.
Discover.
But when I think of nature, I think of maybe where your schoolhouse once was.
Away.
Was your school?
$100 back.
Oh.
I missed the last thing that Kaden said. Did anybody catch it?
Washing machine.
Okay. Henry, was your schoolhouse large or small?
Pay.
Henry,
We can get away.
did you teach in a large schoolhouse or a small schoolhouse?
Moving.
Our schoolhouses today can hold thousands of children. Is that something you had? Henry, I'm trying to be respectful here. You've given me a lot of brash terms. I know you're not always happy about me being here.
Monetize.
That's how he looks at this. Then I'm
Real estate?
exploiting him for money.
How could
You own a car.
What's that?
How could you compensate?
A lot of times, if he's feeling this way, I will
Hi.
patronize him, and he can hear me, because I will read
Bonus.
a little bit of his poetry to kind of stroke his ego a bit, Henry.
There's a reason for this.
Yep. Sure is. Henry, you know what stanza I'm going to read.
I'm not consistently providing optimal.
Wow. We know not
Going crazy.
has inscribed her doom, and all untroubled in her fate, she waits.
30.
Triumph or the tomb. So everybody knows that
Can't
was
find
a
that fire.
poem called Charleston, and it was basically waiting the outcome
We
of the
start
Civil
having
War.
real
Will give
conversation.
you.
start having a real conversation. Henry, you're the one that's got to complete this.
60.
Got a telephone.
I picked up on the wrong time period.
I'm like, what?
Friend.
Oh, I mean, it looks like headsets.
So once again,
Like what we're wearing here?
being
Yeah, sort of.
Okay. We'll be able to take a look at it. Henry. We're down to about 2
Daddy.
minutes. We're down to about 2 minutes.
home,
Usually when I give it time.
thumbs up,
Henry. Can you give us
4.
Can you give us one more image, please? And we'll wrap it up. We'll make a deal. I showed you some recognition.
Music,
And he's completely silent.
feel like it,
Henry.
4. Milestone.
every word,
Henry. One more image. Also, if you want to give me the month of your birthday, I'll take that as a sign and we'll wrap it up. However you want to do this.
No invitation.
loneliness,
No excitement.
This is exciting for us, Henry. It looks like a conversation. Although you have not
if God is real,
you have not given me any factual data so far.
Through ya.
Everything has been conversational.
make sure,
Henry. How many minutes do we have left, Henry?
you, requirements,
You had that at the beginning, too. Pat, you hanging in there?
tell
Yeah,
me,
got nothing to start.
Henry, you want us to leave?
7-2,
Here comes sins.
Henry, can you give me the code word for us to leave? It's the word home. Can you give it to us one more time to verify? We'll oblige. We'll leave.
Pass out.
Henry going once.
Thank you, no.
Going twice.
radio,
Alright, family members, let's go ahead and tap them out. Pat, go ahead and peel that thing off your face. Cameras, we can stop rolling.
We're done.
oh.